Hi, good morning, everyone. Okay, welcome to join this section. Today is I'm a little bit special because I don't represent any organization. I just only representing myself. As you can see on the screen, actually today we are talking about the integrating AI with conventional approach for better outcome. Because I do have lots of the conversation with the customer and also the different kind of the software vendor, the service providers. It seems that they are in not in a trouble because they are struggling to see how to incorporate or maybe adapt the artificial intelligence technology into their services or maybe the product to make sure that the customer is feeling happy and whatever. But this so-called approach may or may not be good for everyone. Okay, so that's why today I just want to highlight something to let the so-called the idea, the concept, or maybe some of the experience sharing among different kind of the people. So I represent them to tell a little bit more about this one. Okay, so as you can see on the screen, there's one, two, three, four software vendor. Okay, well, I use the term software vendor because they have their own product and then provide the professional services, no matter through the partner network or by themselves to meet the expectation of the customer. So I want to narrow down something first. Okay, first of all those kind of the product, they are more focused on the enterprise solution, most likely for the internal user of the enterprise to make use of the process automation and some kind of the application, no matter for the web-based application or the mobile application only. So maybe I just swap the screen to the browser to make sure that I can make use of their product to illustrate the concept a little bit more. Okay, as you can see that on the screen, that's the first product, the Glozic. Actually, this company provide a so-called the no-coding solution to the user or maybe the developer to build a enterprise solution in a very, very fast time. So that's why this is quite similar to the product maybe 10 or 15 years ago. We are talking about the no-coding tools and all those things. Okay, so let's take a look at what the so-called the idea or the strategy about this company. Okay, as you can see that, okay, this is about the Glozic. And she is talking about the AI native and cloud agnostic. Okay, it means that they position herself as an AI company, AI product, all those things. But after several rounds of the discussion with her, actually, I truly understand that it's talking about the infrastructure, right? So the database, all those things, use the native approach. So that's why it would be much more easier for the user, maybe the developer, to leverage some of the AI technology to make use of the record database, something like that. It's fine because at least up to this moment, the user, they understand what I pay for is at this moment or in the future still focus on the AI technology and all those things. I do believe that some of the startup company, they love to use this kind of the so-called positioning because it would be much more easier for them to compete with the legacy BPM solution or maybe the workflow automation solution, maybe the citizen development tools and all those things. Okay. And one more thing is that when we are talking about make the selection or take a look about the product and the services, we will have a look at the website because they are trying their best. They are trying their best to present something from their perspective. As you can see that, okay, this is API package for business, all those things. It means that this company is more engineering focused. So that's why I'm talking about the features, all the capability, and maybe later on you can have a look about the deployment option. This is something that the customer, especially the IT team of the customer, are looking for because they love to know a little bit more about about the architecture. What is the so-called the visibility to extend the capability of the system and what's the limitation of those things. It's quite a traditional way. What we mentioned about the conventional approach to select something to build a solution. I believe that this kind of solution will be in the market for still maybe 5 to 10 years. Before the next generation of the AI powered application available in the market, because we still need to have some time for the market to adopt it and digest all those different kind of the way to build the solution. Why we talking about the different kind of the way? Because nowadays we are still focused on the traditional way to build the solution. There's no difference. Still talking about the SDLC, no matter what kind of the so-called project management skill or all those things. Still use the traditional way, but use different kind of the product and services, especially the AI, to try to build something to fit for the customer, to explore the possibility and all those things. Still use the old mindset to handle the problem. So as you can see on the screen, I don't want to go through too much about the pricing all those things, because most of the new startup company, no matter they are the cloud-based company or the AI company, the so-called they're charging the prices and they're charging more that's very aggressive. So you can take a look about it later. Okay, take a look about the platform. Okay, as I just mentioned, okay, most of the enterprise and the IT team, they really are interested in talking about how about the architecture, how about the deployment, the production environment, the testing environment, UAT, all those things. Is it available over there? Is it talking about the separation of the data? Is there any concern about the security, the privacy, all those things? Of course, if I have a look of the so-called the software vendor, most likely they will provide this kind of the information for you to consider before the first interaction with them to gather the information. And one more thing I want to suggest to all those the customer. Okay, the customer, this is the best time for you to interact with the software vendor or maybe the partner in the first meeting, maybe the 30 minutes of the meeting, because this is the most honest meeting. Most of the time, the most honest meeting when we request for something, when you ask for the question, they will give you the correct answer. So just don't miss this chance to get information which is good for you. Okay, so this is for the Glozic of the very simple way to use the no coding tools, simple to build application, very cost effective, user typical no coding environment to build a solution, and also have the API to further extend the capability. But one very important thing is that she declared herself as an AI native. It means that the end database, all those capabilities are ready to make use of the new AI technology to drive the solution, all those things. So this is one of the so-called product. So let's keep something in mind first. And the second product is talking about YeeFlow. Okay, let's take another live conversation. There's no any problem, but if I enjoy this meeting, something goes wrong. So that's why I cannot even show my face on the screen. Okay. So actually, YeeFlow is another product, still talking about the no coding. But as you can see that even though in the other slide, she also mentioned about the low coding, LOW, low coding. But actually, I have a conversation with the co-founder yesterday. He mentioned to me that actually their preferences are low coding, no any single line of the code, especially they already incorporate a lot of the AI technology over there. So that's why you just mentioned about the so-called expectation of the e-form or something like that, they already generated it automatically. So that's why this is another way that, okay, use the traditional way to build the solution, and then based on this kind of a solution, incorporate the AI technology. And the AI technology is quite common for the most of the user, talking about automatically generated report, generated form, or maybe fix some kind of the query, all those things. So this is another way for the user, for the customer to consider, should I have this kind of a platform in place? So that's why no matter is provided the services by the service provider, or later on the internal team can have some kind of the internal development, or maybe some kind of the maintenance, all those things. Actually, this is something quite popular. Even though the CEO, the Microsoft, before that he mentioned that, okay, in the coming days the SaaS model may not be work, but up to this moment it's still okay, because I do believe that there's two different kind of the scenario. One scenario is a highly AI empowered solution. Public, maybe there's a private account, maybe there's a so-called the local deployment. But the rest of the customer, they are talking about the efficiency or maybe the effectiveness to get the solution to address the problem. So the traditional way, the conventional approach still should be over there for maybe 5 to 10 years or something like that. But of course, everybody is trying their best to incorporate some kind of the new AI technology to make it run not only user friendly, but more effective to solve the problem as well. Okay, so this is the YeeFlow solution. As you can see, the quite similar. Use the drag and drop solution to build the application, and then also the so-called capability, and of course a lot of customer, because as you know that if the any kind of the SaaS model, there's a lot of customers, because the customer is trying their best to make use of different kind of the technology to address the problem, because from their perspective, they are not interested to spend quite a lot of the effort to only focus on one platform or one service. They are trying their best to see in different scenario, what kind of the technology or what kind of the development approach and what kind of the solution should be available and should be suitable for that user group or something like that. So maybe later on you can take a look about this one. And of course, I'm still talking about a lot of the integration to the popular one, no matter it's talking about the Microsoft, the M365, the Google, all those things. It's quite typical for the product in the market, especially the SaaS model, because everybody focus on their own core capability, but also need to have the flexibility to integrate it with different kind of solution. So I want to show a little bit about the pricing. Okay, why I'm also talking about the pricing? Because I do believe that any kind of the customer, or maybe you are the service partner, you need to consider the pricing of the total solution. So that's why this is very important. But of course, as you can expect, the price is pretty low, only $6 per user, and only start from 10 cents or something like that. I believe that would be the trend in the coming day, because this kind of the tool still use the traditional way to manage your problem, handle the problem. But in the coming days, you can emerge, okay, nobody will build the solution by themselves. Nobody will make use of this kind of the tools. They can use the AI to build the solution to address the problem. So that's why even the UI and all those things may be eliminated at the later stage. Okay, so this is another product. Maybe you later on you guys can take a look to see whether this is suitable for you, especially for the SME, because nowadays the SME is quite frustrated. They may not have the capability and the resources and the talents to manage AI technology, something like that, but they really need to solve the problem and also make use of some kind of the product, build a solution, address the problem today, and then later on and enable them to use the AI technology to even do it in a much better way. So that's why all those products, no matter it's the legacy, the conventional product, or the services, still over there, because there's a choice, one of the choice for some of the customer, some of the target group, and be very open to adapt as suitable AI technology into it. So that's why there's another path for them to move forward. Okay, so this is another product I want to share with you. Of course, you guys, if you're interested, just ping them to get a demo or everything to address a problem. Be very open-minded, because nowadays every single solution is different from maybe 10 years ago or maybe 5 years ago. All those solutions nowadays we address the problem is an interim solution only. It's an interim solution. Maybe probably in the 3 months or 4 months later, there's another better way to handle the problem. Better way, maybe it should be much more cheaper. Maybe the way to for the user to handle the problem is much more efficient or maybe effective. So everybody uses this kind of mindset. So that's why we can adapt to the AI era, because in the AI era, every day there's something, there's a new changes or whatever. So the problem is talking about the Flow portal. You may think about why there's so many products over there, because every single product, they address a different group of the user and in different scenario. As you can see that, okay, I change this to English first, okay. This company built a solution, very typical one, 20-something years already, because at that moment, still talking about the BPM solution, very high price. So that's why I built a solution in a more cost-effective way to let the user to make use of it. Very typical, the BPM engine, still talking about the low coding capability and also different kind of the so-called integration with other system. Talking about the system is mostly talking about the enterprise solution, SAP and all those things. And the architecture is still similar. Okay. The architecture and also the deployment is talking about using the Docker. It means that very easy to deploy and all those things. But this product is somewhat different from the others. What I just mentioned about the two other products talking about SaaS model. They expect you to pay the money and then subscribe and make use of it immediately. But this product is more focused on the local deployment. Okay, they really don't want you to pay the money and then they provide the hosting environment for you. So that's why all those so-called capability, they expect you, no matter you are installing the data center or maybe in the private cloud, all those things is good. Okay, so that's why every single product vendor, they have a different strategy. But that's good, because I do believe that some of you guys have the so-called concern about the data privacy and all those things. But this product is definitely maybe one of the very good choice for you guys. Okay, I don't want to talk about the pricing of those things, because all those product is quite similar, very cost effective at this moment. And of course, this company also try to embed and some kind of the AI technology into it, but most likely it's quite similar to the product I just mentioned about talking about building the e-form and also the automation, not focus too much about at the back side. But I do believe that because it's also open for a lot of the API, it's not difficult to incorporate or maybe collaborate with other AI solution to provide a complete comprehensive solution for the customer. So that's why this one, okay, you can take a look about it. Why I mentioned this kind of product very simple, because my role is the International Association of the Microsoft Channels Partners in the Greater China region. So that's why every day I have the chances to discuss with the different kind of the IT practitioner, no matter they are the startup, the software vendor, or maybe the service provider, maybe the enterprise. So that's why I just gather the information to and then give some idea or maybe some kind of sharing to know, oh, this is the concern, this is some kind of the so-called position, that this is something they are going to offer for you guys have some understanding about this one. Because some of the company, they prefer to based on some kind of the prestige report to make the decision, the MQ or something like that. But most of the company, especially in Asia Pacific, they are more focused in the does it make very good sense to use this one? Is there any suitable partner to help me to deliver the solution? Does it mean that it's cost effective, so that's why it's affordable for me or whatever? So that's why it's a little bit different from the other brand name. Okay, you can see in different kind of the report. So the last one is actually this is my friend's new startup company around two years or something like that. This is a totally different story to handle the problem. What we just mentioned about the free product is a conventional way, conventional tools, but more or less as some kind of the AI capability to help the customer. But this one is a totally different story, because there's no any kind of the UI or UX or okay, forget about the UX. Okay, there's no any kind of the UI or whatever kind of drag and drop for the customer to build the application. It's the AI powered software development solution. Okay, let me try to show the simple information for you. Okay, maybe this one. Okay, the left hand side is the mastermind. Mastermind, as you can see, that is the end-to-end AI software engineering. To make it very simple, okay, we understand no matter we build a product or build a solution for a project-based solution, okay, the CBS thing is talking about in the very beginning from zero. Okay, we gather the so-called idea, maybe the documentation, maybe the request from the user, and try to divide it as a requirement. Okay, of course, that is some step we need to do to, and then have back and forth to do the verification and all those things. All those things, actually, we can 100% make use of the human, the professional, no matter you term the person as a business analyst or maybe the system analyst or whatever, you just skip the name is good. Okay. But the key point is that because nowadays we use the AI technology to build a solution. So more than 80% of the so-called job, you gather the requirement and then put it into the AI system. The AI system will digest, do the analysis, and then suggest, and then do the some kind of clarification question for the user to feedback. So this will simplify all those steps and then make sure that every missing pieces will be fulfilled before we go further to do the so-called requirement definition of those things. So use this kind of the technology, you make the user feel much more comfortable because everything is more visible for them. They truly understand what is going to be happen, what kind of the so-called information is over there, and then what kind of the so-called expectation they can have. Why? Because the second step is talk about the fast mode operation. Okay, I do believe that all of you guys have a very good understanding about, okay, I got some kind of documentation, get some kind of idea, but at least you give me something, show me something for our user to have some kind of the way to immersion and then practice about this one, play around and give you some feedback before you spend huge effort to build the application. So this kind of the thing also built by the AI. Okay, I do believe that nobody will challenge that AI cannot build a model. I do believe that even without the AI before that, there's a lot of tools can build a model as well. And then of course after that, define all those kind of the so-called the requirement. The next page is talking about design and generate the whole application by the AI technology. And then because what we still need to have the very good professional capability person to try to review all those output before it can be delivered to the customer. So that's why still talking about 80% rules, 80% by AI and 20% refined and revised by the professional consultant and developer and something like that. And then of course the next line is talking about the testing auto swing will be much more simple than using the traditional way to build the test case and something like that. Of course, this kind of the so-called capability already exists in the market for quite a long time, automated testing, something like that. So this has already changed a little bit. Okay, before that we are talking about how easy to use the tools to do the low coding for building application. But nowadays we don't use the tools to build the application, the auto swing, because we just use the AI at the back to build the solution. And of course, the end result is that also have some kind of the user interface and auto swing for the customer to use it. And then of course we can also refine it and revise it, use the so-called natural language, something like that. So this is already the trend, and I have a couple of successful cases in the market. I do believe in the coming days, most of the service provider, they will use this kind of the technology to build application. And especially, no matter you're talking about the IT or ODC company in Vietnam or maybe India and other Asian as well, they already mentioned that maybe 40% or 50% they already use AI. It really depends on which part they use AI. Most of them is talking about the second half, is talking about build the application on the swing. But nowadays, more important is talking about the first half, try to gather the requirement, the idea, then try to define it as a so-called requirement before generate any kind of the application and the solution as well. So this will have the full picture about the software development life cycle and then for the software development industry. So that's why I want to give you some idea about, okay, is there any approach that is different from the conventional one? The answer is yes. Is there any approach that should be good using the AI? The answer is yes. But how to select which one is suitable for particular so-called customer or maybe the developer or the service partner? It really depends. Sometimes it's talking about the majority of the customer. So that's why up to this moment, I still prefer something visualized. I do believe that I still have some control over there. So that's why they prefer to use the conventional way. Maybe without a little bit about the technology to do the natural language query reporting or something like that. But some of the so-called the customer, they prefer to have another way because they don't even need to learn so many stuff about the UI, all those capability of the system. They just focus on the AI, to talk to the AI, and then feed the data to the AI, feed the requirement to the AI, and get the recommendation by the AI, and then generate the solution to solve the problem. So that's why it will be much more easier. And the last one is talking about, not talking about building the solution. It's talking about maintaining the solution, maintaining the software. As you can see that in the first one, maybe the first year build the solution delivered to the user is quite simple. 2 years later, request for some very little changes. It costs quite lots of the money because we need to review all those maybe the dependence, all those coding, all those things. Even though you are talking about a platform, we still need to go through some kind of process. But for the AI, because the AI actually is very good to manage this kind of the so-called changes, adjustment, and then go through all those testing, all those ways. I do believe in the coming days, it's still talking about this kind of the so-called AI-powered software development lifecycle. This kind of the capability will be consumed by most of the service provider, may be adopted by the customer. And then even for the government, they can have this kind of the framework to make sure that everything talking about the generated code, talking about the ownership, and then the capability to make it very fast changes, of course, using the AI. And then the very beginning, not too many people is good to tell, clearly define the so-called requirement, because maybe I'm just working for the HR department, but this time the so-called applications across 3 departments, 20 people, it's really difficult for me to explain everything. So that's why using the AI will help to so-called relieve this kind of the so-called communication problem as well. And the last one is very, very important. Nowadays, everybody, no matter you are in Western country, European country, Asian country, and India or wherever country. Before that, we are talking about the problem of the cultural issue. Because before that, we are talking about the problem of the communication issue. So that's why even though you have the very good developer, but it may not be easy to communicate with the end user, the customer, the service provider in other region as well. But now using the AI, I just mentioned about, okay, you feed the data and then I can give you the feedback and even translate it to their mother language. So that's why it will be much more easier for everybody to collaborate. So that's why I do believe that today I just spent very short time to talking about the conventional method. Okay, using the very typical modern tools. Okay, the graphical, and then using the low coding tools, make it easier for the developer and also the service provider for the customer to consume some of the capability. So this is one thing. And then I also mentioned about some of the product in the market, they are more focused on the local deployment. It may be very suitable for the company, especially they are adopting the AI technology. They are very concerned to the security, and they really want to control everything. Maybe this kind of the so-called local deployment solution, BPM solution, is also good for them. Even though you're talking about the local deployment, but of course the capability of those things is quite more than similar to what I just mentioned before that. Okay. And the last one is talking about, okay, this is a totally different story. Use a different approach to try to understand the requirement, build the solution, and in the long run, will be much more efficient and capable to manage all those changes. And one more thing is talking about the ownership of the system. You are not relying on any kind of the product, pay the annual subscription fee or whatever thing. You actually generate the complete solution. You get the whole ownership about the solution to address a problem. Okay, so this is something I want to share with you guys. And you are interested to know a little bit more, or maybe have some kind of the conversation, or maybe you have some kind of very good product we want to share with each other. So just let me know. I will try to identify if they're good for the MCP or other group of the so-called association. So that's why all those people nowadays in the AI era have a chance to know a little bit more to how to manage a so-called problem, address the issue in a much better way. So thank you so much for everyone. Sorry about the so-called bandwidth issue. So that's why I can only show my picture over there. In the coming day, just feel free to drop me an email to see whether you have another question or maybe an quick solution to make sure that everybody have a chance to know a little bit more. Thank you so much.